Hey guys, this is Elias with Softfly, and in this video I'm going to show you how to import MetaBox custom fields with an Excel file and WPL import. Now the first step is to get our file, so I'm going to choose to upload a file directly from my computer. Alright, and now that we have our file, we need to decide whether we want to create new items or update existing ones. Right, so I don't have any restaurants, which is what we're going to import here in this site, so I'm going to choose new items. And then I'm gonna select that post type from this pull down, right? So we're gonna create new restaurants for each record in this data file. Now I'm gonna continue to step 2, right? And here on step 2, it's mostly a review step. So you can double check that WPL import is detecting all of the records you wanna import and that all of the elements are here. Now you will notice this is not quite looking like an Excel file. And that's fine. WPL import is transforming this Excel file into an XML here under the hood, and that will allow us to do some pretty cool stuff here on step 3. So let's get on with that. Right, so here we just need to drag and drop the elements from this right panel, right, into the fields we want those elements to go. For example, this is a title, so I'm going to drag and drop the name like so, right? And with this WPL import, we'll just import all of these 1200 restaurants, right, using the names here on this element. Now, if I click here on this arrow, you will see the different records. This is the second record out of the 1200 ones, right? This is the third one, and so on and so forth, right? So this is our description. So I'm going to drag and drop that here, and I'm going to continue with the images section. Now, here in the images section, I'm going to drag and drop only this feature image element, right? I do have a gallery here, but I'm not going to use that in the images section because this is a MetaBox custom field, right? And we have here our MetaBox add-on section. So we're going to use that in a minute, right? Let's just confirm that WPL import is able to access this image by clicking on this preview and test button, right? So we can see here a little preview, and this alone is a good sign, right? But it's always a good idea, guys, to just click here on the run test button so WPL import can attempt to download that image. Now that test was successful, so that means that WPL import is able to download these images and attach them to our custom post types, right, to our restaurants. Now these settings, I'm going to leave them as they are, right? You can hover on the question marks and it will show you a brief description of what it does. But the one I'm most interested into this video is this one right here, because this setting will allow us to set the first image to be downloaded from this box, right, as the featured image. So that means that this image is going to be our featured image, and that's what we want. So let's leave it like that. We're going to skip the custom fields section because we don't have any custom fields that are not created with MetaBox, and the ones that are created with MetaBox are here. So I'm going to enable this restaurants info group field, right? And here we have all of the fields we have in our custom post type, right? We have quite a bunch of them. So let's start dragging and dropping them. For example, let's start with the map address, which is here. Cool. And then the street. Then we have our country right here, right? Then the state, city, and neighborhood. Cool. Now we have here these opening and closing time fields, right? So if I click here, you will see this UI where you can manually select the time you want, right? But if you have an element in your file, right, which has these opening hours and closing hours data, you can drag and drop that here and it will work. Now, this will use the str2time PHP function, so it will pretty much read any readable time format and will translate that to whatever MetaBox is using for these fields, right? So I'm going to drag and drop the closing hours here. All right. And we have a very similar situation here with this open since field. This is a date field. Now this date field, right, uses the same str2time function. So that means we can drag and drop an element here, right? And WPL import will translate that to whatever MetaBox is using for the date picker fields, right? Cool. Now this reading, we can select a value from here, right? but we can use this option to set it with XPath, and that basically means that we can drag and drop a value from here and it will import it dynamically, right? Now, guys, you don't need to actually know XPath to use WPL import, but if you do know what XPath is, then you know you can do all sorts of crazy stuff here, right? So yeah, there you go. Let's move on with the cuisine, and here in the cuisine, same as before, we can select a value from here, but that will mean that all of these 1200 restaurants will have the same values we select here. So if we want those values to be dynamic, we need to set this with XPath, right? And drag and drop the right element here. Cool. Now for the dress code, we have that element right here, right? Cool. Then the chef name, right? Phone number, website, right? Cool. Then here, guys, we have our gallery. So this is the gallery field we're gonna use. So I'm gonna drag and drop that here, right? And we need to double check what's the delimiter being used here in our file, right? So we have this URL, which is the first image of the gallery, and then we have the second one, and then we have a bunch of others, right? But they are separated with commas. So we're gonna use a comma here, right? Now, guys, with MetaBox and the gallery fields, right, there is something you should know, and that is that MetaBox doesn't actually have a gallery field. Instead, it has something very similar, which is the image advanced field. Now, this gallery, it's gonna work with that image advanced field. So there you have it. You can use that if you want to import the gallery items with WPL import into MetaBox fields. So moving on, I'm gonna enable this option right here, which is the same one we found in the first image section. So the WPL import can double check before downloading a new image if that image already exists in our media library. So if that happens, WPL import will use that image instead of downloading a new one, right? So I do want this feature. I don't think we're gonna find too many duplicate images here, but just in case, it's not a bad feature to have on, right? So here we have this price range, right? So here is expenses. All right, so this average price is here. And then we have our recommended dishes, which are around here. Now you can see we have menu name 1, menu description 1, menu price 1, menu name 2, menu description 2, 3, and so on and so forth until the fourth one. Now, this, guys, this is a repeater field, right? I want to show you real quick how this looks here in our restaurant's post type, right? So we have all of the fields we're using. Here's the image advanced field, and here we have our menu, right? So this is a repeater field if you're coming from Jet Engine or advanced custom fields, right? But in MetaBox, this is called a clonable group. So this group has 3 subfields, right? This is a text area, and this is a number field. Now, if I click here on this button that says add more, MetaBox will just clone this field and add a new subgroup like so, right? So what we want here is to import all of our recommended dishes, and we have 2 options for that. We have the fixed mode, right, which is what we're going to use, and then we have the variable mode. Now, the variable mode, we're going to use it with the reviews repeater. So let's focus here on this fixed one, right? And I'm going to add 4 rows here. So third one and fourth one. We have 4 rows. And this data is going to be coming from here. So I'm going to drag and drop the menu name 1, and I'm going to drop it in the name element of the first subgroup, right? So here's the description and the price. Cool. Now let's do the same with the second one and third one and so on and so forth, right? The price. All right. So with this, the WPL import will import all of these 4 subgroups and create them right here. Cool. Now, guys, the issue with this is that I know for a fact that all of the 1200 restaurants have only 4 different recommended dishes, right? So if some of them had 3, right? Well, this fourth element will be empty here in our post type, right? And if, for example, no, some of these restaurants had 5 recommended dishes, well, that fifth one wouldn't get imported. So this is the issue with the fixed repeater mode, right? It's really not an issue. It's how it's supposed to work, right? Now, this reviews is a little bit different. So I'm going to select variable CSV, right? And we can see we have one single subset of subgroups here. So these reviews, right, are separated with pipes. So this guy, Aaron Turner, right, this is the first one. He wrote this delicious meal and cozy settings, blah, blah, blah. So this is separated with a pipe. So this is the one that he wrote, and he left a 4 stars rating. Now this one right here, Alison Mayer, she wrote this second comment, and she left a 4-star review. Now Victoria Pearson, Cherry Castro, Linda Nelson, so on and so forth. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 different reviews. But if I go here to the next record, you can see here we have, well, 6, 7 reviews. So this is a variable number of repeating elements. And we can find that right here, right? Here we have another cloneable group. So yeah, we're gonna import this dynamically, and WPL import will create as many subgroups as needed, right? So that's how it works, the fixed mode and the variable mode. So here in the customer's name, I'm gonna drag and drop this name element here for the comment, and then for the rating, this one right here. Cool, guys. So it seems like we have completed our MetaBox add-on section. So I'm gonna jump into the next one, which is the taxonomies. I'm going to enable the cuisine, which is up here. All right, then the booking speed, that's here. All right, and availability, it's here. Cool. Then these 2 options, I'm just going to skip them, right? This is just standard WordPress stuff like post status, post dates, and whatnot. And this is the function editor, which is not something we're going to use in this example, but it's something very powerful within WPL import because it will allow you to run PHP functions and manipulate your data however you see fit, right? So you can do all sorts of crazy stuff here, and we do have other videos and other docs in our channel and in wplimport.com that you can check out if you're interested in this, right? So let's continue. Here we have the button to continue to step 4. And here's step 4. The first thing we're going to need is to select a unique identifier. Now, this unique identifier is what WPL import will use to differentiate all of these 1,200 restaurants, right? Because we want to create 1,200 different restaurants, and WPL import needs a way to tell them those apart. Now, usually an ID or the name is a good unique identifier, right? You can drag and drop whatever elements or combination of elements you think it's gonna differentiate all of these restaurants apart, right? But there is a simpler way. If you don't want to actually like overthink this too much, just click on the auto detect button. Boom, that's it. Now these settings are mostly for when you need to rerun this import, right? So this will control whether you want to create new restaurants from the records in this data file, right? And this one will control whether you want to update that data, right? And you can even choose which data to update. For example, let's say you only want to update the images, right? So you deselect all of this and leave the images enabled, right? Now we're gonna import all of the data because we're importing this from scratch, but you can choose otherwise, and we do have other videos and other docs in this, so be sure to check them out if you need to. Now then we have this option to remove or modify restaurants that are no longer present in this import file, right? So this, well, it does pretty much what it says it's gonna do. So you're welcome to click here on this little YouTube icon, as you will be taken to a video where we talk a little bit more in depth about that, right? So then we have here these scheduling options, guys, and these scheduling options are for when you need to run this import automatically on a schedule, let's say every single day or maybe on a weekly basis or whatever. well, you can set that up there and WPL import will take care of that for you. If you want to know more, be sure to check out the other videos in our channel and check out our docs at wplimport.com. For now, we're ready here, so I'm going to continue, right, and run this import. Now, guys, this is going to take a minute or two while WPL import downloads all of the images, so I'm going to pause the video here and come back when it's ready. Alright, guys, so our import is complete. Let's see how our restaurants came in. Alright, so we have 1200 restaurants, which is great. This is the number we expected. Let's take a peek here on the front end, where we have this beautiful website, and our restaurants seem to be here. Let's open this one up, see what's going on here. So we have the feature image, the title, the star ratings, the average price, the cuisine, the open scenes field, right? These two are taxonomies, and this is the description. Then we have our gallery, which is always a good sign, right? This is looking really good. Now, here we have our recommended dishes, and they seem to have been imported correctly. Then we have here our map, reviews, it's good. And all of the other fields seem to be here. Now let's take a look here in the edit restaurants page, and we have here the title, description, the different taxonomies, cool, feature image. Then we have here these address fields, they're looking good. Opening and closing times, open scenes, okay, this is great. Here we have our gallery, which is the image advanced field, remember. Then we have the menu, right, it's good. Here's the cloneable groups, all of them populated, so that's great. And then we have the reviews, which are populated as well. All right, so there you have it, guys. That's how you import MetaBox custom fields using an Excel file and WPL import. Now, guys, if you're looking to import maybe Jet Engine custom fields, or if maybe you're using ACF to create and handle your custom fields, you can import those with WPL import and export them with WPL export too. So, if you want to know more about that, check out the other videos in our channel and go to our website at wplimport.com. See you next time.